Hey everybody, welcome to volume 2 of my junk journal flip through. This one, my old one, if you watched the previous video, was made from a traveler's notebook insert. Had a lot of fun with that. This was volume 1, this is volume 2. For this one, I got a book from Goodwill and I ripped the guts out of it and then made my own scrapbook paper signatures and sewed them into the binding with thread. So I will walk you through this one. I love this journal. It's one of my favorites. Let's see if I can get the lighting right. There's no shadow. This is fabric that I put spray adhesive and then spread the fabric over it and then wrote with a stencil. This is just scrapbook paper. Stuff, tip-ins, journaling, cards. I used some Tim Holtz Distress inks, and I love this washi tape. I don't have it anymore because I used it all up, but it's kind of vintage looking to me, and I love that. You'll see I use quotes. This was I didn't show you all the way. This was a tip. Continue to journal. Quote. I cut things out of it. Cut little pieces out from a stamp thing that I have, or a cutter. This is a card from something I ordered on Etsy. Pictures. Piece of a pattern that I got at Goodwill. It says don't follow the pattern. Journaling, scrapbook paper, paint. This was a bag that I got the stuff that I ordered on Etsy in. I like this. Why did she make things? Well, she enjoyed it, of course, but it also somehow helped her remember who she was and where she came from. I love that. Journaling. Pictures from my sprocket, some art journaling. This is more art journaling. This is about my daughter. When I asked her what she wanted to be when she grew up, she said a pop star, a ballerina, and an artist. This is her hands covered in paint when we did a project. This says, yes, my darling. And these are illustrations from Real Simple. It's my favorite magazine to get illustrations out of. Journaling. An envelope with yep, you rule. Knock, knock. Yep, you rule. Journaling. And I love this. It's a picture of my daughter in black and white, but this little person with bull horns. It's like a little person trying to pull a bull with a tiny rope. Nice girl from Good Home. This is journaling and art journaling, stuff from summertime. This was from our Bible VBS last year. This is illustrations. This was about my husband and I, art journaling. Promise me one thing, our lifetime. I just loved all these pictures. That's us on our wedding day. This was from church VBS camp. This is a napkin that I like Mod Podged in there. Journaling, scrapbook paper. This was art that I drew and painted. An old picture of my kids. Something at a church in town. Oh, this was from their VBS last year at the church. The big song of that week was Fierce by Jesus Culture, I think. And they just had the best imagery for it. Like a tidal wave crashing over me, rushing in to meet me there. Meet me here. Your love is fierce, like a hurricane that I can't escape, tearing through the atmosphere. Your love is fierce. I love that. And it's like this, they made a video and it was this little boy who had like I don't know, it was like the water washed over him, kind of like God's love, which was really cool. This is an illustration. This journaling page is, this was for my son, because he's so creative and wonderful, and he asks questions all the time. So that's from a magazine. Do you like rockets? That's something he would ask. He loves to read. This is a card from a book of dinosaur cards that he had, and I took one. And this is from my sprocket. Found himself in a strange land, one of many. His heart was full of bright hopes. What? Just a second, Ad. Just a second. This is my son and my husband reading when they were little. This is more art journaling, piece of acetate. This is an envelope that I glued something to. And then there's an article in here. I think it was a scrap of an article that I enjoyed. So my kids are calling me. I will be right back. Oh my goodness. My son called me because he needed a wet wipe because his hands were covered in cheese ball dust, and so he couldn't touch anything. Ay, ay, ay. Countdown to Kindergarten, that was from last year, Addie. And this is how I feel about her. She's just like this beautiful woman lifting up a car. I cut out quotes from magazines that I like. This is part of Patterns from Goodwill. This is from magazine. So my journals are like collage, scrapbooking, journaling, art journaling. They're just a mix of everything. This is something she colored for me. She's a funny girl, a little bit of everything, something indispensable. I love these stick-on letters. I loved this illustration. I thought that was such a beautiful face. So there's more journaling. That's my dad and my kids. They were little. There's two different signatures in here. You can see this is the spine of the book. So this was the first signature that I made, and this was the second one. I didn't go exactly in order. If paper struck me, then, or if something that I had already done struck me, then I journaled on it. It's not necessarily in chronological order, which I don't mind. There's dates on all of it. This is journaling, pictures, journaling. This is stuff I glued in there, washi tape. This is my kids getting an eye exam from my husband. He's an optometrist. Lists, journaling. This is art journaling from me. I love to paint backgrounds and then do quotes that I like. This was me dragging paint across the page with like a credit card or an old card, and I love the way it looks. I think partly it's the mix of colors too, but this is more of those patterns cut in here. Pictures. This picture, I just loved this woman. She just looks like she has her own mind, her own style, her own ideas. This was old pictures and journaling stuck in here. This was when my daughter was 6 weeks old and my son was, he still would have been 2. Them playing at a park with my mother-in-law at the state fair. Pictures, journaling that flips out. I love things that flip out, and there's things that you can find, like little surprises. My kids riding a roller coaster at the fair. That was the first roller coaster Addie went on. It was just one of those little caterpillar ones. The big yellow slide. We love to go. We go to the fair once every summer. We spend an afternoon and have so much fun. This is my daughter sitting at the desk that I do art at, that I'm sitting at right now, and she's coloring. We had the window open. It was gorgeous. So I just wanted to remember it. This is a piece of the tag for these necklaces that we found at Target. They were magnetic flamingos. They're best friend necklaces, so there was 2 of them. She had one and then she gave me the other one. And so they stuck together like kissing flamingos. And then when school started and she found a best friend whose name was Brooke, she took the necklace away from me and gave it to Brooke. Oh, Henry's first tooth that he lost. Picture of that. This is journaling, and it was copying, not copying, but looking at a picture that I think it was from Inky Quill, maybe. She did an art journal that kind of looked like this. It was a face with like sweeping hair, and I loved it, so I tried to do that. And then there's some of this like texture paste on there with a stencil, so it makes it textured. I love that. That's cool. These are state fair tickets, eating corn dogs, more journaling, me and my kiddos, my heart's desire, good picture of my family, and that's it. Oh, and then this was kind of last summer, finished last summer, so the Berenstein Barons, they were off to school then. So that is my second volume of my art journals, and you guys have kind of seen the first one. The sun just went under the clouds and it got really dark, so that's my cue. Thanks, guys.